My belief is that if you can get yourself to stand out from the crowd and you can give clients more than they would expect in terms of quality and service experience, you can decommoditize your service.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out with you. Another great interview coming up. I want to pause and remind you that we are sponsored by three great companies here at the Appraiser Coach Podcast. Folks, these companies have been with me from the very beginning. Great companies to get to know if you are wanting to be an effective and efficient appraiser. First of all, Total, a la mode, helping you to do more with less. In other words, the investment that you put in is far less the investment than you get out. We call that ROI. You can check them out by going to alamode.com or 800-ALA-MODE. Datamaster is found at datamasterusa.com, and Datamaster is saving appraisers about 45 minutes per report. 30 to 60 minutes per report is what they say. Folks, with a touch of a button, you can insert all kinds of data into your reports. Check them out. Go to datamasterusa.com. And finally, we're sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O that I use to protect me and to support me. And they do it at a cost that no one else can beat. Check them out. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org. Well, folks, I want to dive right in and introduce you to a good friend of mine. His name is Jason Fischman. He is a member of my dream team. And Jason, welcome to the program first before I jump into your bio.
Thank you, my friend.
It is so good to have you here. I really appreciate you taking time. I know you're a busy guy. Jason is an appraiser in Southern California. He has completed literally thousands of appraisals since 1989. Is that right, Jason? You look so young.
Yeah, I started when I was 2.
Well, there you go. Now that makes sense. He's got more than 15 billion, that's billion with a B, in aggregate value. He's a state certified residential real estate appraiser, a licensed real estate broker, a designated member of the Appraisal Institute, American Society of Appraisers, and more. By the way, Jason, I've seen your business card. You have more letters behind your name than I can even imagine, and half of them I don't even know what they mean. Again, he's a member of my Los Angeles dream team and a dear friend. So welcome again, Jason. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, how you got into this crazy appraisal thing.
Well, I mean, absolutely, but I think you just said it a lot better than I can. I feel like I need to pay you for that really flattering intro.
Well, I just lifted it right from your website, so.
Oh, okay. So there's nice stuff out there in the cyber world.
Somebody wrote it. Yeah.
Good times. I mean, as far as background, I started with a family-owned company in the LA area, Los Angeles area, like late 1989, early 1990. And between then and now, I've worked in both Southern and Northern California. I've worked with regional, national, local firms. I started a regional firm with 2 partners about 20 years ago, and I managed that for 10 years, and eventually we all moved on. And today, my wife, Anna, and I manage a local firm with about a half dozen appraisers. Personally, 50 years young. I like to say young rather than old. Anna and I, Anna's my soulmate. We'll be together 30 years next month.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. We've both been vegan for more than 20 years. Most people don't know that about me. Our dog Ninja is 15 and a half, and he's also vegan. As far as hobbies, I play guitar, I work out, I collect weapons, and I've studied a few different martial arts.
I love it, man. That is a great background. And Jason, if I remember correctly, and again, Jason's a member of my dream team, so we've had a lot of conversations, but if I remember right, when you got into this, you actually paid to play. Is that right?
That is correct. I mean, back then, remember, there was no internet. The only thing we had was the Yellow Pages, and I just picked up the Yellow Pages and I called every appraisal company, and everybody told me, no, we're not hiring, we're not training, we're not doing anything. And I had gone to a class through I think it was the National Association of Real Estate Appraisers, something like that. And I saw an ad in the Yellow Pages that had their logo. I figured, well, let me call them. Maybe maybe I'll get lucky. So I called them up and they said, yeah, come on in. I interviewed with them and they said, all right, well, we'd like to bring you on. Here's how it works. We're going to charge you $500. Remember, this is 1989.
Right.
I was 19 at the time. I think I had $700 saved up, maybe. So $500, I'm like, wow. And then I, of course, still had to buy my equipment.
Sure.
But I thought, you know what? I mean, if I could turn this into something that I could make, I don't know, $500 a week, I'm going to be stoked. That would be amazing. So, it's kind of a good investment. I could make it back, reasonably quick. And I was wrong. I didn't make it back reasonably quick, but wow, it was sure a good investment back then. I would have paid 10 times that easy.
That is a great story. When people come to me trying to find a mentor, I love to tell that story because I don't think that's very typical, but I love your attitude that, hey, you know what, this is tuition. This is my education. This is my future. And you looked at it like an investor and not like a, how do we say, somebody who, would hold their hand out. So good for you, Jason. Awesome. You live in an area that's very challenging. I coach a lot of appraisers in your area who really struggle. And I think, it all comes down to supply and demand. Certainly there's a big population in Southern California, but there's also a very large population of appraisers. And my understanding is that the typical AMC fee in your area is quite low. And what most appraisers do is they make that up by volume, but that keeps them very, very busy. Jason, you've done kind of a unique thing in your area. Tell us a little bit about your niche.
So my niche, I'm privileged to work in the ultra high-end space in our market. My specialty is high-end, high-value luxury homes, mansions, mega mansions, and things of that sort.
Now, you say I don't know if you use the word blessed or lucky, but I would correct either one of those because this is something that you have personally designed, right?
I have designed, but the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Well, I once heard a very successful man say that we create our own luck. So, okay, well, I'll let you use the word luck, but I know this is something that you've purposely, first of all, educated yourself on, experienced yourself on, spent a lot of time on the marketing side of things and building this thing up. Let's start this here, Jason. What caused you to want to niche out, or is it just something that kind of happened to you?
That's a great question. I mean, I did have it in my mind that I wanted to specialize in something. I wasn't clear on that. And the path was really unintentional at first. I mean, we had a few AMC clients that from time to time would assign me some of the more, I'll call them basic high-end properties. Mm-hmm. And they, I would turn in the work. They seemed to like what we were providing because as time went on, they started to trust us with increasingly more complex assignments. And as things progressed, we started getting these unsolicited calls and messages from new potential clients, and they were referred by some of the lenders that were the end users of our appraisals, and that kind of just blossomed into this niche. And now I can focus exclusively on just high-end, very, very expensive homes. And really today we're struggling to keep up with the demand.
Wow. Yeah. Well, first of all, there's a lot of them down there. And I don't, obviously we're talking things like Bel Air, we're talking things like Malibu, we're talking things like Hollywood. You do quite a number of those types of properties down there, but are there really enough to keep you that busy?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
Well, so let me ask that, because I think, and you and I are similar in the sense that I do some high-end homes as well. And I often get this question, so I'm going to pass it on to you because other appraisers often ask me, well, I mean, do rich people really need to refinance their house? I mean, what are these appraisals for?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And they're for different purposes. Not everything is for financing, but yeah, they don't need to, certainly the word need is nowhere in that equation, to refinance their house or get financing in any way. Oftentimes they'll pay cash and just replace the money so then they can put it in, presumably, I'm not rich, so I'm presuming they're going to take the funds and put it into a vehicle where they can get a better return. Yeah,
that's something that I see quite often. Is it's not so much that they're doing a cash out HELOC. They're certainly setting up their finances in such a way, probably guided by a financial advisor, if you will. But of course, you're doing purchases. You're doing private appraisals as well, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So, Jason, I've seen a little bit of your appraisal work, and it is quite unique, quite interesting. I think it'd be interesting to the listeners, and obviously I don't need you to get into great detail, but tell us the difference between, say, a typical AMC tract home appraisal and something like what you're talking about, a high-end multi-million-dollar home in Malibu. What is the difference between how those two reports look?
A lot more pages.
Perfect.
I mean, what can I tell you? The clients that we work with, they're very savvy. Oftentimes there's two appraisals being ordered simultaneously. So they take those, and of course they want it to be different, but they want certain things to be in alignment, so to speak. And we've got very, very high-end reviewers, and they have very, very elevated expectations of what they want, and rightfully so. I mean, their exposure is pretty high, or the lender's exposures are pretty high with properties like this. So they want to make sure that the appraisals are going to make sure that their loans are properly collateralized to some different loans.
Are these narrative reports? Are you doing these on 1004s or what, or both?
That's also a great question. The answer is both. For the most part, they're 1004s. However, in certain circumstances, I'll suggest to them that a narrative is more appropriate. Sometimes I'll do reviews, so where we have two appraisals with disparate values, and then they want me to essentially review both of them, determine if there were any issues that needed to be, that should have been addressed, and then kind of tie them together with my own opinion of value, and I always do that in a narrative form.
We're talking with Jason Fischman. He is an appraiser of high-end properties down in Southern California. Jason, when we get back from the break, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what you do, and I don't know how detailed you can get, but I think the listeners would be interested in knowing a little bit about the types of properties and some of the properties that you have appraised, and also want to talk a little bit about what it means to niche. But I want to pause here first and remind you, of course, that we are sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O that I have chosen to go with after looking at many other E&O companies. Folks, I can't even begin to tell you the benefits. In fact, I won't tell you. I will tell you to go to orep.org and just click on the benefits tab. You will be shocked and surprised how much an E&O company, beyond just coverage, and that's huge, and beyond just the lowest price, that's also huge, but the benefits that come with OREP Insurance. Folks, if you are with any other E&O company, I urge you to check them out. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org. Speaking of other companies, many of you have been raised, your mentor has taught you under a different software than a la mode. Folks, there are some great software out there. I am friends with the CEOs, the presidents, the leaders of many, many companies out there, and I don't have anything negative to say about any of them. But I stay with a la mode. Why? Well, folks, for my money, for my investment, I want the best and the most return. And that is what a la mode continues to give me with their mobile apps, their tools inside the software itself. Yes, I was raised on it. Yes, it is something I know. But folks, I've looked at other software and I still choose to stay with a la mode. And I'm a tech guy and I'm an efficiency guy. Check them out. Go to alamode.com or 800 a la mode. And finally, we're sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster is helping appraisers to save time, to save money, to be more efficient, to use technology for your gain. Check them out by going to datamasterusa.com. Find out if they are in your area. If they are, what are you waiting for? It's datamasterusa.com, datamasterusa.com. All right, welcome back to the program, everybody. We're speaking with a good friend of mine, Dream Team member Jason Fischman in Southern California. Jason, thanks again for taking time, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we're talking a little bit about your niche, if you will, your unique approach to appraisal. Are you still doing cookie cutter stuff, or is it just high-end stuff?
The cookie cutter stuff that I do right now would be, in the seven-figure range.
Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing? It's a crazy, crazy world that you live in. Let's talk, and I don't want you to break any confidentiality rules, but I think that like me, the listeners are on the edge of their chair wondering what it is that you do specifically. Can you share some of the more unique places that you've appraised?
So, number one, I appreciate your acknowledging the confidentiality. Of course, that's important. As you can imagine, privacy and discretion are paramount in our practice.
Sure.
And I have signed NDAs on some of the unique properties. But sure, I can give you a few examples of maybe some of the unique attributes of some properties that I've appraised recently, if that's cool.
Love it. Yeah. Give the, we've been talking kind of on a high level, a 5,000-foot view of, Jason does high-end properties. What does that mean?
Yeah, so let's talk about some of, there's a few mega mansions that I appraised recently, and one in particular that's standing out of my mind. It had a stacking vehicle elevator, and it cost, right, it was about a seven-figure investment in that property. So essentially the way it works is you drive your Ferrari or your Lamborghini or whatever exotic car you want to drive.
Your Subaru, that's what I drive.
Yeah, your Subaru, exactly, into one of the garage bays and onto this platform. And then you press a button on a control panel, and your car is shuttled down to a massive lounge on the lower level. It's a 3-level home. And basically just put your entire car collection on full display like it's in an auto show. So then, when you want to drive, let's say your Rolls Royce Dawn, you walk into the garage, you press the button for the appropriate slot on the control panel, and then your bespoke luxury vehicle is effortlessly delivered to you in your garage, kind of like a Pez dispenser for Batman.
I love it, man. Okay. All right. That's awesome. Tell me some more.
Okay. And that property also, which I thought was really cool, it had a rock climbing wall in the gym with an auto belay system in case you fall. So that was
of course. So you can rock climb solo, right?
You can rock climb solo. All right. So next one. I've seen some pretty legit recording studios. I don't know if that's of interest to anybody, but I did the best one was, and this was in the middle of a residential area in Beverly Hills. It had a 10,000 square foot commercial studio, like a real commercial building, all concrete. Cost tens of $millions to build. And it was by invitation only. Unless you were somebody, you didn't get to record there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I assume somebodies have recorded there.
Some somebodies have recorded there. And if you go on YouTube, you'll see some of their sessions.
Very cool.
Yeah. So another thing that I'm seeing a lot more frequently in some of these real big homes are wellness centers. And typically what that means is you've got this huge space, often down on a lower level, and they've got a gym, of course, and a sauna and a steam room and hot and cold plunge pools, massage room. Some have a beauty salon. I've seen one with a living yoga room. It had a cryo chamber, sensory deprivation tank, whatever that means. Actually, unrelated to the wellness center, that house also had, what did I call it? I think I called it an adult entertainment room, and it was kind of like 50 Shades of Red.
Okay. All right. Enough said. This is a family program.
It's a family. Yeah, exactly. My assistant called it a cuddle cave.
There you go.
Sorry. I can't help it.
It's all good. So tell me, Jason, what is the, and I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'll throw it out there anyway. What is the highest dollar residential home? Keep in mind residential here, highest dollar residential home you've ever valued?
So I only do residential. I don't like commercial, but so without disclosing assignment results, I'll put it this way. The highest sale that we've had in our market recently, ever, was $165 million. And I didn't appraise that property, but I appraised a property that was very, very close to that.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? $165 million, folks.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. So appraisers struggling, working for the man, working for the AMCs, upset with the low fees, upset with the revision requests. What are some suggestions that you would give? In fact, let's start here. How does one find their niche? Because this is obviously, we're talking the difference between, if we want to use the doctor's office analogy, a general practitioner and somebody who really niches into, say, podiatry. How do you niche as an appraiser?
So, honestly, I wish I had a good answer for that, Dustin. As I mentioned, my niche just kind of developed organically. But I will say this, things really started to happen once I made a conscious decision that I was going to strive for excellence. I just said one day, look, if I'm going to do this, I want to be as good as I can possibly be. I don't know if I'll ever be the best, but I'd like to get close. Things started to really snowball from there.
I love it. That you nailed it right there. That is the key right there. It's a conscious decision. What advice, as we close up here, Jason, would you give appraisers out there who are kind of dealing with the ups and downs of the market?
So my belief is that if you can get yourself to stand out from the crowd and you can give clients more than they would expect in terms of quality and service experience, you can decommoditize your service. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm saying it.
No, I follow you.
Okay. And I think you can remain pretty steady in any market. But aside from that, it's just the standard advice. Stack your chips when things are good, and it minimizes stress if circumstances become less than good.
I want to circle back just for a second as we close up, Jason, because we emphasized it before. I want to end with this. You used the word conscious decision, and I think every day of our life we've got to make that decision to strive for excellence. Jason Fischman, thank you, my friend. How do people find you?
Just Google me. You'll find me.
Let's spell your last name. It's a little unusual.
That's true. It's Fischman.
Perfect. Jason, thank you for taking time today. Appraisers, I hope this has been something that you can learn from, to take your business to, I'm not going to say the next level, but the different level, so that you're not out there just competing with one another, with your peers, that you have something unique to bring to the market. Jason's been a member of my Dream Team for several years now. If you want to learn more about what the Dream Team brings to the table, I encourage you to go to theappraisercoach.com, click on memberships to learn more. Jason, once again, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say something to your listeners. You do so much for the appraiser. I've said it so many times. Look, would I be where I am without having met you? Maybe. I don't know. But it certainly accelerated the process.
Well, so you're an amazing guy. I look up to you. I appreciate what you do. And thank you for taking time, and have a great weekend, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good, brother. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.